Hello.
Hi, we are Doctors Jennifer and Jake Dean Hill, and this is the Doctors J&J podcast. We are so excited to be here with you today. We are both licensed therapists. We work together, we live together, we lead together, so we understand the challenges of being able to work peacefully and harmoniously together. We have come up with a simple, concrete solution. It's called Wear Two Crowns.
Wear Two Crowns is all about equity, learning how to bring out the strengths in each other, and learning how to share the power in the relationship so that we can all be better together. Each week, we're going to give you tips and tools and strategies and even personal stories to help you wear two crowns. And we're going to invite experts in the field of relationships that will help to educate us, inspire us to wear two crowns as well.
Yes. So tune in each week. We look forward to our time together.
To the Doctors J&J podcast.
We're here and we are excited about today's topic, which is parenting.
Parenting. We loved being parents. We are still parents to our adult children, very different than being parents to small children. So for all of you out there with small kids, we feel you. We're with you. It is some of the hardest job that we've ever had. And so there's no perfect way to do this. But today we want to talk a little bit about parenting. We promised our kids and ourselves we will not talk about parenting till we have finished the job of parenting.
Which we have.
We have finished the job of parenting. Our kids are great. We cannot take credit for that. They are just great material to start with.
Very successfully launched.
Right. And that's something we also encourage parents is you can't take responsibility, full responsibility for the outcome, positive or negative, of your kids. And our kids are very successful. They're doing really great. But I would give them most of that credit. They make great choices.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they picked some fabulous partners. And we're just really enjoying seeing our son be parents to our two grandchildren.
Yes.
So we have one rule for you that is more important than anything I would say that we could give to anybody in parenting. And it guided our relationships with our kids. And it still does. And that rule is rules without relationship equals rebellion. So that means your focus as a parent goes solely and specifically on developing a relationship before you can earn the right to give the rules. That's the way we've tried to look at it with parenting.
Amen.
And making sure that you have that rapport and that connection with your kids, that they don't want to rebel. They're going to lose that connection if they rebel.
Right.
And at the same time, let me say, rebellion is also a really important part of the process. And sometimes that happens later on in life. Sometimes it doesn't happen when they're 12 or 13 or 18 or 17, but sometimes it happens later on in life. But either case, it's a time for them to say, hey, I'm going to do this my own way. And we can't block that with our kids. We have to encourage them to do it their own way, especially if they're adults. Absolutely, we never block that. They have to do things their own way.
Yeah. One of the things I see a lot with our clients, and parenting comes up a lot in our offices, just because a lot of us have parents or have kids, and there's always, something there. But Jen's right in that relationships are the key, and we see it all the time that when kids do not feel a very strong bond to their parental figure, it's easier for them to throw that away.
Correct.
And to rebel, to say no, to do things. It doesn't mean that kids will not do that anyways, but one of the things we really emphasize is building that relationship. And, we're going to talk about a lot of different things today regarding parenting. We're not going to cover every topic there is to cover on parenting, but we're going to talk about expectations and consequences and all that, and what to do and how to get to a child's need behind the behavior. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but starting with relationship.
Correct.
One of the things that was so precious to me in raising our kids was the time that we got to spend one-on-one with them. And sometimes we would have daddy-daughter dates and daddy-son dates, and and you would have, mommy-daughter dates and son dates, and those times, whether it be at Burger King or McDonald's or going to the park, whatever it was such a valuable time to just get away from the other siblings and spend that time just listening and getting to know them. And I feel like one of the keys with parenting is taking the time and stopping long enough to learn about your child.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can get caught up in trying to teach our child or train our child, which I know sometimes I did too. Really, sometimes I missed connection because I was so intent on making sure my kids are making good choices, treating people with respect, all of those things that really we're responsible for as parents, are we not? Nobody looks at a 4-year-old and go, that 4-year-old's horrible. No, we look at the parents and we say, who are those parents of those children, right?
It's true.
So sometimes we can take a lot of responsibility for our kids.
Right.
And sometimes we don't take enough responsibility. As they grow, the child needs to take more responsibility for who they are. And if your child leaves you when they, in their 20s or 30s and goes to college and starts to live in ways that are different than maybe you would live, that are not necessarily bad, you've nailed it as a parent. You've basically said to that child, kind of like a baby bird, you can fly and you can fly on your own, and you don't need me in a way that maybe you used to need me when you're younger. Sometimes we see parents taking offense at that and feeling like, oh my gosh, my child has left me. What did I do wrong?
Right.
No,
they don't need me.
They don't need
and it's
me.
like, that is an accomplishment, right? Because our kids
Right.
are supposed to be individuating from us, right? They're
Correct.
supposed to be their own person, a contributing member of society.
Yeah.
And that is such an important job of teaching our kids how to adult
Right.
eventually. But the process of, I think one of the things I see sometimes parents are missing is that concept of not only getting to know your child, but letting your child know that you really like them.
Right.
They know you love them because you kind of have to,
Yeah.
right? You have to
Yeah.
because you're their parent and they could do no, right? But this idea of, I like you, I want to get to know you, I want you to teach me about you,
Right.
is such a powerful concept. And that spending time and saying, I want to know what you're into.
Correct. So that one-on-one time is really powerful. Also, family time is powerful too. So you get to know each other as a family. And it's very normal in families to have a ton of differences. And if you have two very different parents, you're going to have different kids. Jake and I are very different, and we have two kids that are very different.
Yes.
And sometimes that's not always easy in a family, trying to bring everybody together and to build on common ground. And this is where we go back to, can we have a relationship, right? Without rules or without put downs or criticism, but creating a safe culture.
Yeah. One of the things that I love that you introduced early with our kids was joke books and laughter and just bringing humor, right? Sometimes we have to learn humor as kids. And I think that was so fun to have times where we just belly laughed with our kids and just had such fun memories.
Right. I remember too, we had at the table, we would have a high-low. And we had a little lazy Susan that we had I remember a little heart on it that we would turn that lazy Susan. Yeah. And whoever it landed in front of would share about their day, highs and lows, what happened in there that they liked about their day and what happened that they didn't like. And just being able to share about and listen to each other about our lives is huge for creating that relationship.
Oh yeah. It's surprising to me how many times parents are, we don't take the time because we're busy, and it's hard to really make yourself take that time to really stop long enough to go, we just need to enjoy each other and the time. And I know there's lots to do, and I don't pretend, parents that have 6 kids or whatever, that they're just going every which way. Obviously, can be more challenging. But one of the things that I loved as one of our traditions was every Friday night or whatever night it was family night. And we all got to go around each week and take turns planning the family night.
That is
And
fun.
so I remember Dawson, our son, of course, would a lot of times choose Legos. And so we as a family would be choosing Lego. And one of the rules was you need to smile and, right, you're going to love it. And McKenna usually did a pretty good job of kind of rolling with it.
I think she did better than me. Legos is not my jam. Oh my gosh. My son and husband just absolutely love Legos. Yeah.
How could you not love Legos? But
I can give you a lot of reasons.
and then McKenna sometimes would choose, hey, we're gonna watch a Disney movie or different things, and it was just fun. And we even took turns. Mom and Dad got to take turns, and
I remember one with Dawson. He wanted us to dress up in me in my wedding dress and you in your suit, and then he was in a suit and his sister was in a dress. We kind of reenacted the whole wedding, which was super comical.
Because they didn't get to be there.
No, they didn't get to be there. And my dress didn't quite zip up all the way, clipping it together, right? But that was such a fun memory as we pulled out some of our old clothes. And I'm not sure how and where he got that idea.
I think he probably watched our wedding video somehow, and
That's
he just
true.
thought, why
Romantic.
can't we have that? But he just was into wearing suits, and
did.
he was
He
just
loved that.
Mr. Sharp dressed dude.
He
And,
was. Always had a little black suit hanging in his closet.
yeah.
That, which is another thing too, right? Developing a relationship is discovering what it is that your kids like and enjoy. And I remember too, our son loved and loves Legos, and specifically Star Wars Legos. And I remember saying to you, do you think we should keep getting him all these Legos? And you said, Jen, he loves these. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't it our responsibility to introduce other things? And you're like, no, let's get him what he loves. And I remember thinking about that, and I'm like, yeah, what's the rule that I have to get him other stuff? But getting into his world and discovering what he loves and encouraging him on that, of course, is no surprise that he's an engineer today.
Yeah, and he had quite the collection of Lego Star Wars, and which was fun. We got built shelves in his room and displayed those. And I remember when our daughter was into volleyball, and we're like, we're buying a net, and we're going to put it up at the park, and we're going to play volleyball. And so obviously a lot of parents I see at least a lot of parents are really good at wrapping around their child and what they're interested in. And I think that is such a gift we give our kids.
We can, but sometimes we need to encourage each other. And when it came to the volleyball, I remember you saying to me, she's not that interested into it. And I remember saying to you, you are an incredible volleyball player. Grew up in Southern California, played for Redondo Beach High. And I said, who better to teach her? And I remember we had a discussion like that, similar to what I had with Dawson and the Legos. And I said, this is your job. Nobody's going to love her and invest in her or actually have the skill like you do. And she needs to learn how to be successful.
No, I appreciated that. And I had such a fun time just helping her excel. And she did so much excel. But I do need to make a correction, a very important correction.
What's that?
I went to North Torrance High.
Right, thank you.
And yes, it was near Redondo Beach, but
Right. Thank you for that correction.
we don't want to mix that up.
No, we
don't want to
not.
give credit for another high
Sorry.
school that
Had an exceptional volleyball player.
right. We want to make sure that the volleyball player was.
Thank you for that
correct.
correction. I really appreciate that.
Yes,
I could tell you were waiting to tell me that.
I
correction.
was. It was in bated breath, going, "Okay,
Right.
I don't want all of my fans to be thrown off by what high school I graduated
Right,
from."
honey. That's exactly right. Because
Yeah.
give credit to where credit is due. Look what they made with you. You're
Right.
pretty impressive.
Right.
But I
So-
do think it's good to encourage one another, right? Especially if you have opposite gender children, which we had.
Mhm.
Sometimes I was giving cues with Jake to, this is how you can connect with our daughter. And he was giving that too with my son. Hey, this is how you can connect with our son, right? And this is the way
Yeah.
he thinks and he's wired.
taking each other's influence is that's such a two crowns concept for us, is that
Right.
really taking each other's influence. And I think couples who are committed to taking each other's influence, especially when it comes to parenting,
Correct.
because we all have different skills in that. And I feel like moms are so good a lot of times at just really getting in tune sometimes with the heart of the child and maybe some of the underlying feelings that may be there that I knew I missed, or a lot of men can miss in terms of, you know, what a child may be feeling or having that empathy or whatever. And so I would say, if you want to be a better parent, be a student of each other,
Right.
and help each other, and bring your strengths forward for each other, because your kids are going to benefit, and your kids have a mom and a dad for a reason.
Right.
And yes, we know that some kids are raised with only one parent,
Right. Or
or with their grandparent. And so we know that they don't always get to have mom and dad, but we think that, gosh, that is the best of both worlds. And so we just want to encourage you to sharpen each other and help each other, instead of, you know, criticizing each other for the part that's not working. So,
or to be exclusive. Like we've seen this a lot too, is where there's some parent alienation that happens even inside the home, where there is a lack of respect for developing connection with both parents. We both really tried to be intentional about not undercutting the other person with the kids, and being able to make sure that we're both connecting with the kids. And I think you'll find that you're going to be stronger in different areas. Like I think you were very strong in really connecting with the kids and play. And I
loved playing with them.
And taking influence from me. I think you did a really great job on that. And I think it was a little bit harder. Maybe it's just the mom thing, but I'm like going, I think I know what's best with my kids. And we've talked about that too. I think I would have benefited taking a little bit more influence from you with the parenting too, even though it didn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I think as a mom and a dad, society puts pressures and expectations on you that sometimes you have to let go of and say, okay, how do we want to do this? But then how do we share the load on this? How do we both have two crowns? How are we both powerful? How do we take each other's influence?
Yeah, that's good. Well, you may have a child who is strong-willed. And
we had two of those.
We did. And we love kids. I think to me, that's the best kind of kid to have, because that strong will and that strength will get them through life in so many ways. But it's also, you know, sometimes difficult to parent that, because they push the limits, or they, you know, test you.
Yeah.
And as parents, it's hard because it's tiring, right? Especially if we're working and we're coming home and we're trying to deal with, you know, discipline issues in that. Right. And so one of the things that we teach parents a lot is getting really clear on expectations and consequences. And one of the things that I think a lot of the education system in schools do a good job of is making very clear expectations, very clear consequences. So every child in that school knows, if I get out of line and I don't line up with my class, if I stand up, if I, you know, disrespectful to the teacher, I'm going to the principal's office, or they have the red light, green light, yellow light, and my stick is going to move down to yellow if I'm on green, and then if you don't want it to move to red, because, So,
excuse me real quick. How many times are we learning so many discipline strategies from the kids we work with, and then the schools and the plans that they have? And like, okay, which stick did you get on today? Which light did you get on?
Right.
We have all these plans. I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
But it's such a foreign concept.
It is, but shout out to the schools.
I know.
That are doing a beautiful job.
The schools are doing such a good job. And I always tell parents, be a student of your kid's school, ironically, and whatever is working for them. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, my kid is so good at school. Like, they don't ever get in trouble. They're so well behaved. And I'm like, well, there's a reason for that.
Right. And I think, to your point again, too, is strong-willed. Sometimes it has a negative connotation, but Jake and I loved parenting strong-willed, intelligent children. It was a real joy. And because we also really value leaders, and we knew that it is a strong person and a person who has a strong sense of self that becomes a great leader. So how to parent and keep that strength without crushing their spirits is, I think, also a huge goal for a lot of parents.
Yeah.
And we get a little confused about what is appropriate for guidance and then what is crushing. We've got this whole push now with gentle parenting, which is fabulous. I absolutely love that. And there's some downsides to it as well, too, that we're seeing that's coming out in the parenting, which is not enough boundaries. So it's beautiful.
Balance.
Yeah, when you can do gentle parenting with healthy boundaries. And so we want to talk a little bit about some discipline. The first thing I think that is good with discipline is fair parenting, which is set the expectations. Set the really clear expectations and the really clear consequences. And
I call it the speed limit.
I love that. That's great.
Right. Post the speed limit and then let your kids drive.
That's brilliant. I've not heard you say that. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
So the speed limit sets the tone, right? Just like the speed limit guides us on different roads, right? One road, is 55. Another road is 35. There's school zones, right? All of that. But there's a posted speed limit, but nobody's coming by and saying, hey, make sure you drive the speed limit.
That's good. And what happens? Here's the hard part. What happens if you don't drive the speed limit?
Exactly. Right? There's consequences.
There's consequences. And similar to the adult world.
Right.
If you do not drive the speed limit, you get pulled over, embarrassing.
Yes.
Slows you down. Then you get a ticket. You have to pay money, right?
But here's the thing that cops don't do. And I remind parents of this. Cops do not drive alongside and say, roll down the window.
That's so true.
And yell at you and say, hey, slow down. You're driving crazy. This is bad. Like, you're going to kill somebody.
Or they don't throw up their hands and going, they're 18. I can't do anything about it.
Right.
Or they're at the other parent's house, so I can't do anything about it.
And I love telling parents, I go, what if a cop pulled you over and just hysterically yelled at you for speeding, but never gave you a speeding ticket?
Yeah.
Would you slow down? Probably not. In fact, what we would do is we would videotape the cop, we'd post it on social media, and you're like, this one went nuts today.
Laugh at him.
Right, which is what our parents, you have to realize that our kids are doing that to us.
This is true.
Our kids are, when we lose our you know what.
Yes.
And we are going off on them or yelling or getting so in their face because they are crossing a boundary or they are not meeting expectation. And we're doing that as opposed to giving the speeding ticket, giving the consequence.
Yeah.
Right. We're almost providing entertainment for our kids.
Well, the other thing we're providing is, or we're creating, whether we want to or not, is an unsafe environment where the child doesn't feel safe and they recognize they have more control than you. So when you lose it and you're angry, which please hear us, we are not shaming you on this. It is so normal for us to lose it and we get angry and we find ourselves either yelling or shutting down or saying stupid things that we wish we wouldn't say when we're angry. It's all it means when you're angry is that a boundary has been crossed.
Yes.
And I love the ABCs on boundaries.
I like ABCs. I mean, we're talking about school. We're talking about children.
So this is quick and easy.
ABCs.
When you're angry, A, right? All it means is there is a B, boundary that's been crossed. And when the boundary's been crossed, you need to state the boundary. I told you to pick up your shoes and you did not pick up your shoes. Therefore, there is a C, consequence.
ABC.
ABC.
That sounds simple.
Let's give a quick example on this.
So if the expectation is that you put your backpack where it belongs when you come home from school.
Right. Wait, I just have to say, that was the exact example I was going to use.
Really?
We are mind melding.
Wow.
Excellent. Okay, go ahead.
That's surprising.
I'll be curious to see the consequence because I was pretty proud of mine. It was pretty creative, but go ahead.
So if the expectation is that your child is supposed to put their backpack where it belongs, not just thrown in the entryway or whatever else. So you're getting angry about that. You're like, how many times
Do I have to tell you?
have I told you where the backpack goes when you come home from school?
Right.
And so I'm clued in that the boundaries being crossed, the expectation is being not met. So I could yell. How many times am I going to tell you? I told you I'm tired of picking your backpack. I could keep picking up myself. I mean, there's so many options of this backpack that's in the wrong place.
But does the cop get in the car and push on the brake for you to slow down the car? No, you have to learn how to help create some positive motivation.
Right.
For
So
that
what's a
person to slow down.
motivation is you take the backpack and you light it on fire in the backyard. No.
Option A.
Option A. That's the consequence.
Right.
Or probably your consequence would be better.
Well, I think that, we can get creative. The older kids get, right, the more they argue with you, the more their critical skills have been developed, the more they can really push your buttons. And I used to be a middle school teacher, which I absolutely love that age. It's a really fun age to work with. And I also worked with high school as well. And I really enjoyed, in fifth grade, I enjoyed too, because I really still love the teacher. Sixth grade is so fun because their sense of humor is developing. And they're looking for heroes in their life. And they're really looking for somebody to relate to. But they're super intelligent and they like to argue and they can be a little obstinate. So I remember when our kids was about that age and they kept putting their backpacks. First of all, you built this beautiful home for us. And then you built this beautiful mud room, which they both had their little lockers they could put their backpack in.
Very cool lockers.
Right. And they are literally walking by their lockers and coming and dumping their stuff on the beautiful
How dare they?
fireplace hearth that you also built.
Oh,
Yes. And I remember thinking, gosh, these are all over the place. It looks horrible. Plus you can't turn on the fireplace, right? So there's all these problems with this. But I would tell the kids, hey, could you please put your stuff in your locker? Then I find myself getting a little bit more. I like the 1, 2, 3. 1 is kind. Could you please put your stuff in your locker? 2, I told you to put your stuff in your locker. More assertive, right? And then there's more aggressive. I really don't like to go to 3, and I don't advise that for parenting, right? So I try the kind, then the a little more assertive. But I found myself getting angry because they are not listening to me.
Ooh, boundary cross.
Right. So you know what I did? I charged them rent space.
Ooh.
Charge them rent space. I don't know if you remember this.
I do remember this. That was
Uh-huh.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their little quarters or whatever little allowance they
Their
got.
allowance, they had to charge. If they wanted to put the stuff there, I'm like, that's fine. I'm not going to keep getting mad. But I'm going to find something that makes them uncomfortable
Right.
to misbehave in this and
They had-
disrespect me.
They had to pay fireplace hearth rent.
Yeah, I think it was like $5. And I would give them.
Was it
an
that
up-
much?
I was, yeah, because I was getting really tired of talking about it.
Whoa.
I
Our kids were high rollers though, probably.
I think I did that once. And it was amazing how they kept using their lockers. I even gave them a warning. I'm like, I'm moving over to your backpacks and I'm going to take your backpacks. And if they could run and get to the backpack before me, then I would
Oh,
charge
yes. You would kind of even go in slow motion.
Right.
Yeah, that was good. But how many parents do you hear that they're like, I've told them about their I've yelled at them about their backpack for 532 times.
Yeah.
And the backpack's still not there because there's been no speeding ticket. There's been no consequence.
Right.
And that's where we say, you don't have to really get to the angry stage because you can get to the place where you just say, this is the expectation. And this is where I like to bring in this idea of choice. Sometimes parents are made out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because like, you took my money, or you took my backpack, or you took my iPad, or you took my toys or my Legos or whatever. Like, so the parent is then blamed for the consequence. Instead, it's very important to remind your child that this is the expectation. You have a choice. Like every child has a choice. You can keep all of your privileges, all of your money, your iPad, your toys, your freedom. You can keep all of that by doing what you're told, doing what you're supposed to, or they can choose to give that up. They can choose to hand their iPad, can whatever, they can give up their freedom, their whatever it is, because they've chosen not to comply with the expectation. So there's a very clear cause and effect.
Right. I like the statement, if then.
If then.
If you can't put your backpack in the locker,
Yes.
then I'm going to have to charge rent for this space.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, that was really, really hard for me. I was like, if what? If what? What am I going to do? I'm like, can't you just comply with this? I tried reasoning. I tried
I know.
just being very transparent and saying this is really ugly. I don't like it. But if the child doesn't listen, and really they were closer to adults than they were child. And pro tip, this works with partners too in Two Crowns.
Yeah.
If you
There's
can't
a lot of
give
parenting
me-
principles in marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
If you cannot remember to take in the trash, then I will hire somebody to do that. Right.
Right.
So yeah, if then statements are great for being able to establish clear expectations and clear consequences.
Yeah.
They also help you pause and slow down so that you don't react out of anger.
Right. And kids want to know how to please you. They
Right.
really do. And they want to know the path that they need to take. And when you line that out clear, and it's not like just be good or just don't make bad choices. Like that's just too general. You have to get very clear. Like, I need the backpack in the locker. Well, you didn't say you wanted it there when I came home from school. I thought it was before I went to bed.
I got all that.
Right. So
Yes.
kids will dissect things to the nth degree.
Right.
And so I always encourage parents, like, if the expectations can't hold up in a court of law, they're probably not specific enough, because there's never a legal document that says, hey, just try not to, take someone's thing. It's like, no, like if you steal someone's property on their property, like, and you take it off of their property, like it's very clear, any kind of law or any kind of legal document. So when you say the expectation is you have, 10 minutes after you get home or whatever, that needs to be in the locker, then it's very clear.
So clear as kind.
Clear as kind.
Bring
And
it-
I will say that consequences are good. Sometimes we dole out like this huge consequence for something, right? And I always say punishment should fit the crime. So you don't get life in prison for a speeding ticket.
Or lying.
Or for lying, right?
Yeah.
You don't. And so sometimes we find the thing that really hurts the child, like it really causes pain, but it's for a really small offense.
Yes.
So I always like to think like, okay, let's say your child is not getting to bed on time. A very good consequence is you're going to bed early tomorrow night. The punishment fits the crime.
Right.
Now, that doesn't apply to everything, right? If they're being disrespectful or whatever else. But it also can mean you're going to give encouragement to your sister. If you're mean to your sister, you're going to do your sister's chores. Or you're going to do your brother's chores if you are disrespectful or mean, which was a very effective consequence because...
Yeah, we call those repairs
Right.
in our family. You keep speaking disrespectfully to your sister or your mother or whatever, so I need a repair. Or your sister needs a repair, or your brother needs a repair.
Yes.
And then that was always really validating for that offended child to say to their sibling, I need you to make my bed for a week.
Right.
Because
I
you
need
were
you to make amends.
Yeah, make amends. We taught them
Yeah.
that, but we also, that doesn't just apply to kids. We did that many times with our kids. Empty the dishwasher as a repair because I came at you in my anger.
Yeah, we would do some of their chores as a repair for, different things that we did that hurt them. And another thing I'll say about the consequences too is instead of just saying you've lost it for a week or whatever, or they chose to give it up for a week, don't forget that part. And
Right.
you think it's semantics, but it's very important that the
Sure.
child owns that this is my choice. I'm choosing that. But I always like the principle of you start by taking that it's gone away. I'll say that privilege or that item has gone away for 2 days, let's say. And then, because one of the things that happens, I know a lot with kids is something will be taken away, and then they just lose it, and then they don't care anymore because they're like, life is over. I've lost my toy or I've lost my iPad.
Right.
And so their behavior doesn't improve. And so one of the things you want to remember is keeping that carrot there. And so as soon as they give something up for 2 days, you get to say, I'm going to be watching.
Right.
If you are going to be making good choices, you have good behavior, you're obedient, you're kind, it may be one day.
Right.
If you continue this tantrum, or
Right.
if you continue this disrespect or disobedience, it can be 3 days.
Right.
And so keeping that fluid in the moment, because the goal is not they lost it for 5 days and we've accomplished something. No, the goal is change behavior.
And relationship. Keep the relationship.
Right.
Right.
Keep the relationship. And
While
if
you
they
change.
know they have the power to improve their situation or make it worse, you have them engaged.
Yes, exactly. I really like the part about not making the consequence more fierce than the crime.
Yeah.
We, again, we
You're
have
grounded for a month or
we
whatever.
we really didn't believe in that. We didn't do it simply because we did not want to manage that. Any kind of consequence that we gave, it was usually pretty speedy and swift.
Yeah, that's why I like the
And
short and sweet.
Short and sweet. We rarely ever did grounding. If we did, it was like 24 hours or
Right.
until behavior changed or until there was a desired effect. But really, that I don't find that to be terribly effective. Plus, who wants to keep being reminded of what it is that we did, right? I don't
Right.
as an adult. So I don't want to be reminded for a month.
Right.
How
of
I-
why I lost this
Right.
or whatever.
Right. So reserve that for some really, I would say, high offense.
Very severe. Yeah.
And try to make the consequences pretty quick and swift so that you can get back to just relating and having a good time.
Yeah.
And making sure that it doesn't crush your kids' spirits, that, they don't lose, maybe their athletics team or competition or a main event because they
Right.
didn't do their chore. We've seen that, and it just that will
Yeah.
crush the child.
Or I'll see parents where they tuck their kids in at night every night or read them a story or whatever else, and they take that away.
Yes.
And so now I'm angry at my child because they disobeyed.
Right.
And part of the consequences is I'm taking my relationship from them, which,
Right. That needs to always be constant.
yeah, you
We-
just don't want to ever take that away so the kid thinks that you don't like them now because they've made a poor choice.
Right.
You want them to never question whether you like them, you love them, you want to spend time with them. And so that is such an important thing to be consistent about.
Your love. Yeah.
But here's what I will say.
What's that?
If you're doing all of these things, you're setting very clear expectations, very clear consequences. You're not yelling, and or doing 50 times, and a behavior is continuing, which happens. You have to stop, because if a child is resisting all of those measures and continuing to make poor choices or continuing to do cross that boundary or do that undesired behavior, you have to stop and go, is there a need behind the behavior?
That's
And
good.
I really want to emphasize that one of our jobs as parents is to really get to our child's core needs.
That's really, really powerful. And sometimes the repetitive behavior can indicate a disorder. I remember our godchild. Our godchild, Katie, had some problems, and the parents were talking to us about, she was about middle school, and that she was just checking out and she wasn't following directions. And
Yeah, she was ignoring them.
she was ignoring them, and they were having to discipline her. And I said, hey, and she's a great kid, still is today, mother of many. And I said, you might want to get her checked out. At about her age is when it's actually pretty common for girls around 12 to 14 to have some silent seizures. Sure enough, I remember she was having like 30 or 40 a day.
Yeah, they're called petit mal seizures that
Right.
was causing her to literally zone out, and she didn't know it. They didn't know it.
Right. And we are typically confronted with repetitive behavior issues that we're quickly trying to assess. But Jake is right. If the child is healthy, has a really healthy connection or attachment with their parent, they are hardwired to please the parent and
Yes.
teachers.
And if they're not, something
Is
is
either
going
on. It could be a personality or a reactive disorder if there's adoption or attachment bonds that have been broken.
could be ADHD.
Could be ADHD, could be some trauma responses that they are having. But being able, a lot of times we are trying to get to the bottom of this. We don't work with children as much as we used to when we first started off our practice. But the number one way that you connect with a child to be able to assess and direct and course correct is play.
Yeah.
Play therapy, right? So that still holds true to parents in the home. If you're feeling confused by your child or what's going on, take some time out to go take them out for a one-on-one. Go to
Yeah.
McDonald's. Go to, take a little, we keep saying McDonald's, Subway. But take them out, spend time with them.
Dairy Queen. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Go on a
who
family
who
trip.
are our sponsors?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we don't have those yet.
Brewchies.
Yeah, Brewchies
We
sponsor.
love
Yeah, take
Brewchies.
them to Brewchies.
Yeah.
We love Brewchies, but
Mhm.
how many times have you heard where it's like the child's acting out, misbehaving, and
Right.
you're finding out that they're being bullied at school
Correct.
or something's going on behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
when you address that, all of a sudden the behavior changes.
Right. And I think that's probably one of our crown jewel.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say relationships is probably in creating a relational connection with your child is the essential element for getting good behavior and good
Yeah.
connection. Gives you really the rapport and the trust level to be able to give some correction and guidance.
That is so good. And I'm going to reiterate our little philosophy too, is that rules without relationship equals rebellion. And so if you have a kid that it seems like is rebelling, stop and go, what is my relationship like with them?
Mhm.
Am I investing that quality time? And am I listening to them, or am I
Right.
allowing them to teach me who they are?
Or are we too busy trying to teach them who to be?
Yes.
Instead of just really listening, who am I? And well-meaning parents, myself included, can be very guilty of that.
Yeah. Well, kids are a gift from God.
Absolutely.
And we are so grateful, and we love our kids. We
Yes,
love our
we do.
parents, and we just root you on, those who are in the trenches parenting. And we just want you to know that we are for you. And we want, hopefully, these little tips will help you and
Yeah.
that you will utilize them.
And I just wanted to express some gratitude to both of our parents. We have some great parents that have worked hard to be able to develop a family system that was stable for each one of us. And
Yes.
it's just such a blessing that we'll never know because we came from two intact family systems that we've both felt very loved by and
Oh,
loved
so
by
blessed.
the other one as well. So
Yeah.
that makes a
Thanks,
huge,
Mom and Dad.
Thanks, Mom and Dad, on both sides.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. Even at this age, we are still grateful for the parenting that we had.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for tuning in to
Yeah.
the Doctors J&J podcast. We hope that you subscribe if you haven't already so that you get notified when the next episode drops, which is every Tuesday, Two Crown Tuesday.
Two Crown Tuesday. Remember to live, love, and lead better together.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.